So I have another patron request here, and this is one. This of course is the downside of doing patron requests because I always will give you my honest opinion. You know where this is heading. So MoGreenGlasses is a subscriber of mine, and he requested after a patron donation the House of Violent Desire, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. Now, before I say anything, I don't even have my notes because I took very little. They're out in the car, and I don't even feel like I need them because I feel bad because on one side of things I want to say like man, maybe you should pick a different film for me to review because I don't have a lot to say about this, and I feel like I'm cheating you in one way. But in another way, this movie's 2 fucking hours long, and I did sit through every goddamn second of it. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. But that all being said, this has a 3.0 on IMDb. 3.0. That's insane. Like, that's super, super low. I'm not saying it's not warranted. We'll get to that. I'm just saying when I saw it, I was like, oh, whoa, this is a movie you want me to watch? I was like, all right, fuck, 3.0. That I mean, I have a rating that I usually don't go beyond, and that's anything under a 4 and absolutely anything under a 3. So when I saw 3.0, I was like, oh shit, here we go. And when the film started, there's like opening tits, and it's got these really cool aesthetics, and the music is good, and the cinematography for a lower budget, kind of a B grade film. I was like, all right, like I'm in this. And then the title card's rad. And even though the budget is obviously not high, I was like, this seems like a passion project. This seems like somebody who really loved what they were doing. And so in that way, I was like, all right, I'm in it. Like, this is not a 3.0. This is bullshit. Like, this is going to be a cool flick. And I wouldn't really call this a horror movie. I would call this more of like an erotic thriller, I suppose. There's not a lot of eroticism, but the film does center around eroticism because it deals with desires and passions from people who are kind of sick in the head. And so while I was watching it, it just... The two things that killed it for me. Number one is the over-the-top theatrical stage play acting. Like, this felt like I was watching, I don't want to say high school, but it felt like a not amazing stage play. Like something you might see at a local theater in town, not Broadway, not something big major, just something where they have some actors that are doing pretty well, and then other actors that are really, really overblowing things. Like, there's a couple characters in this. Every time they opened their mouth, I was like, damn, man. Like, let's dial it down a notch. Like, I get it. You're some thespian actor, and you're giving it your all, and you're showing your range and whatnot. But man, there's a couple characters. I think the dad. The dad that like disappears somewhere throughout the movie, and then he comes back and he's all covered in blood and whatever. His acting in this, when he's going nuts at the end and he's talking, is fucking rough. Just so over the top, so exaggerated, so beyond it. I felt like I was watching a film from like the 40s or something with those actors that really put forth that that kind of they're acting more like with their body, and everything's just rah, 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 and you're like, fuck, like, let's bring it down a lot. So that was one thing that killed it. Then the other thing that killed it was just pure confusion. Like, throughout, I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on again? Like, what is this person doing here? And they like kind of start throwing in a possible supernatural angle, and then you find out it isn't, but then you see that there's people that have these motives for being there, and the kids are lost in this, and there's arranged marriages, and there's a mom who's in on it, but she's not, and then this guy. I was so fucking confused by the end of this movie that I was just like, I stopped taking notes because I was just like, I don't know what's happening. And I wasn't liking the movie enough to rewind. It's 2 hours long, and it's a period piece, which I don't like period pieces much. The acting was rough, and the story was confusing and was losing me. And I was sitting and watching it at work with tons of distractions, with everyone freaking blow dryers on and people coming up and asking like, hey, can you do a haircut? Or, hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, do you want a hand job? Or, okay, maybe I fell asleep for a minute and dreamed that. But I couldn't get into it, man. I'm going to lay it right out for you. I really couldn't. So I don't really know what else to say about the film. I thought the music was great. Like, I really was like, another huge issue. Oh, I forgot. Another big issue I had with the film. The cuts, the editing. Fuck me with the editing in this movie. It was, oh my God. If there was a scene between a couple characters, it would cut back and forth between them. It's such a frantic pace. It was like watching a Paul Greengrass film or something. It was like every half second. It'd be like cut, cut, cut. It was like cut, 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 cut. That quick. And it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Ow. I couldn't, like, once you see those kinds of things, you can't unsee them. So throughout the rest of the movie, anytime anyone was exchanging dialogue, it would just go back and forth, back and forth. But that other person would still be talking, and it would like show the other person's expressions, like back and forth. And I was like, can't we just stay on this character for like 3 seconds? Just like 3 fucking seconds. Just give me a break from the cuts. Please, please. Why is it so frantically cut together? So that was pissing me off. The acting, but as I said, music, excellent. Really solid music. Some of the imagery was good. The setting was really good. I thought the house was cool for the budget and shit. And they did a pretty good job for, it being a period piece. I thought the costume designs and all that stuff. Aesthetically, it's actually a really appealing movie. The cinematography, the color being used, some of the imagery, the sound design and the music, the score, like all that stuff. But the story and the acting is where it lost me. And the runtime, it's too goddamn long. It's just too goddamn long. For what it is, this movie needs to be shortened by about 20 minutes. And they need to drop some subplots. Like that character that came and showed up and he was like mouth fuck raping some guy with some retainer headgear mouth rape device. Like that guy, there's too many characters at that point. You got the black maid who, I'm pointing out she's black because the characters are all fucking super racist and of the times and whatever, but she's in here and she's got a reason for being there. Then there's the the butler or whatever the hell he is, and he has his reasons because he had a past with him and he was turned into a eunuch and was fucked up the ass, and then somebody else died because they were raped for like 3 straight hours, and then this other guy shows up at the manor like late at night one night, and it was just one too many. It was just like, who's this and why again? Fuck, I'm still trying to figure out what the black girl's doing, and I'm still trying to figure out what the butler's doing. Who the fuck is this guy, and where'd the dad go, and what is this daughter doing, and what about the second son, and what about the other son? Like, what the fuck, and what's the mom doing? Like, what? Maybe if I watch this movie a few times, I would be able to really get it all straight and be like, oh, so it's too much for a one viewing, 2 hour, slower paced film where you're just sitting there going, you don't really know what's going on. That makes it a rough watch. So, I mean, I don't know. That's about all I got to say. If I had my notes, maybe I would point out a couple more things. But I hope that suffice. I mean, I gave you my honest opinion best as I could, man. Just, it didn't work for me. Do I think it deserves a 3.0? That's a good question. Thanks, Jason, for asking that. A 3.0? I don't think so. I don't think it deserves a 3.0. I think it deserves a 4.0. I think that would be a little more realistic because I think that there's a lot of love put into this film. Like, the people who made this film gave a shit 100%, and I take nothing away from them for that. So this isn't some call out movie where I'm like, you guys made a shit film and you should feel fucking bad and this shouldn't have been released and what the hell's wrong with you? What were you thinking? Like, I almost never do that. I've only done that maybe a couple times ever. Death House, of course, being one of those examples. Nothing like that. So for me, this is below average, but with a lot of heart and a lot of great technical achievements for the budget. But a lot of the stuff that I mentioned is just brings it down way too much for me and brings it below par. So 4.0 seems about right. 3.0 seems harsh, but I also understand why someone would give this a 3 or ones. I'm sure they gave it a 1. I would never give this movie a 1. I would probably give it like a 4. Like, I think, as I said, 4.0 seems right to me because that's about what I would give it, like a 4 out of 10. So there you go. Thank you to Mo for the Patreon donation. I know he's probably deleting it right now as we speak. That's okay. But honesty is the best policy here on Sinister Cinema. So there you go, Mo. Thank you so much. And let me know if you want some Mo.